What is up on this blessed day? Hopefully you're having one because I know I am. Most definitely, for sure. So, follow up video from my last one. A little bit of time has passed, so it's time to do that. I've been convicted to do that. Like, I've been really compelled to do that, to make this video. I wanted to state in this video that um, things are made good or have been made good from Him, from God created everything good. And when you overdo something that's been created good, can be bad, you know. And it's funny because I had a conversation about that earlier with my old dink lady for show. Um, anyway, so um, I wanted to state that if you are using cannabis to just to get high, like that's a little bit like, you know what I'm saying? Like that's a little bit too much. That's overdoing goodness in things. I don't think that purpose was intended for that. Obviously, I stated that I felt like it was a medical reason, at least why I was doing it. And so, if and Peter, verse 5 states that you know, depending on how your version or a doctrine of the Bible that you read is stay sober or clear or sound of mind, because the devil is like a lion seeking to devour and destroy. So keep that in mind. And I was very much a worker of iniquity, being not so clear minded. And so, I felt like if you watched my last video, you obviously know that I had a very surreal experience that was given to me um, to be more discerning and clear minded for the things that have been going on. Um, I really wanted to get that point out there for sure. I'm not trying to steer anybody away from Christ and God at all, like by any means. You shouldn't really live in absence of them, but I mean, free will is free will. You're going to do what you do. So, um, that being said, the follow up that I wanted to do, or going to do, is since I've been 30 days plus, um, with some time passed, things that have been going on for me on the more positive side is that I've been able to manage my time a little bit more. I've been clear minded enough to get things done uh, without it hindering my procrastination or enhancing my procrastination, is the best way to put that. Um, Also, walking with no fear. I've been more, how I want to say it, defined in my manner is the best way to put that. Um, Walking more fearless. So, which has been a really awesome thing. Being more happy and uplifted is another thing that's coming with that, or is coincided with that. Um, I can't explain or express how great I feel now compared to where I was at before. Um, Also, being blessed with more monies, blessed with more peace in our home life. Not that it was bad or crazy before, but more harmonized. It's been way more harmonized, so I'm very grateful for that. Um, Being more whole. I know old lady talked about that God-sized hole in your life before on Facebook. That's been way more filled. Like gone pretty much. Like It's an awesome feeling that everyone should feel. I think should feel. Um, Being more discerning about things and family and friends. Um, Before I was kind of, how I want to say it, like this with them, trying to seek out and see things and try to relate, trying to be more outgoing towards people and things and family and friends, uh, trying to be, how I want to say it, more so submersive, you know, and things. Um, and I've noticed being more submissive or submersive in things. You know, it says that evil or darkness can corrupt good manners. You know what I'm saying? So I've noticed that a lot, and being more discerning, I can see more clearly on that, which is like a very awesome perspective feeling. So, um, so having all this gain on this side, you know, and there's other things, and I might say some in the cons or negative things that I've been experiencing, which is more of my disability issues that I'm having. Um, and so we'll move on to that. Uh, oh, before I forget, before I move on to the con side, a very big pro is not being mastered by things. I've been really working on things that uh, I've chosen in my life that have with things like coffee or caffeine, nicotine, and obviously in a form of THC. I've been really working on that. Like I've been cutting my caffeine down quite a bit. Obviously, e-cigging more to try to curb that as well. So that is a big advantage that I've been working on and have been a pro on, like on the pro side of things, like not being mastered by substances and things of that nature. And also a little bit of my background, my family's coffee drinkers, so the caffeine thing has been very real for me. Um, Slowly, just like curving it a little bit, which is a great feeling actually. Um, I Because the caffeine actually brings more anxiety to me. Like before, it was a little bit more alertness, which it still does. Don't get me wrong. There's benefits of like coffee and things like that, you know. Um, at the same time, I've noticed a lot more anxiety with caffeine, for sure, since my my testimonial awakening, if you will. So, like I said, we're going to sweep to the con side of things, which is more disability oriented. Um, Having that anxiety, um, from what I understand, most people tend to go to the grind or do things where their anxiety starts going up and up and up and up and up and up and up, and they peak and either at the end of the day or whatever they come down or whatnot. You know, mine is um, kind of like the opposite. Instead of going to and curving up and down, or how I want to say it, like I notice like a lot of people as they go to their grind, it's up here and it comes like down throughout the day. Mine's the opposite, where it builds up throughout the day and doesn't really climax or anything and come back down. It just continues to rise, you know, until like I go night night. Um, and so having more of an overwhelming anxiety feeling, um, a lot actually, um, as well as the sleeping thing. So the sleeping thing for me, um, which is not a side effect per se, it's more like a disability thing where I can't sleep great. So since this has been going on, I'll sleep for like 4 hours and then get up in the middle of the night and either be up or like toss and turn. if I go back to bed, um, and not having a good sound sleep at all. Uh, if I go back to sleep and wake up, I feel more groggier or tireder or foggier, if you will. Um, and then eventually start waking up and experiencing the day. So that's what's been going on like that. I've also noticed that my attention span has been more like this, back and forth, not be able to focus on one thing and be like, boom, it's done, go on to the next one, on to the next one. It's been, let's do this and let's do that, and I gotta get this done and I gotta get that done, and not focusing on one task at a time, but trying to, it's not like multitasking, it's being distracted. I'm doing this and then something pulls my attention and I'm doing that now. And then and if I remember, I can go back to this. But if I don't, I'm moving on to the next one. And um, it's not really like an overwhelming feeling. It's just a lack of focus, for sure. Um, Speaking of information and focusing and stuff, I've noticed that like this came back as well. Um, if you ever taken a test and you're like, boom, and a lot of people are going to sit down and focus on their test and do their test all the way through, but cool, I'm done. That door that opens and closes for information, mine's more like open. I'll hear the clock, I'll hear people talking, things like that, like all the time. Um, even with reading my Bible, like I can sit there and most people read and they can have somebody in the back room listening or watching TV and they're just reading and they're having a fun time. I can't do that. Old lady was sitting there being in the back room. Ash was in the back room watching a video on YouTube and I was out in the front room reading. Yeah, I barely read a paragraph because I kept hearing that in my ear constantly. And it was nothing that she did. It's not like I'm going to be like, hey, turn it off. I'm trying to read. Like, no, no, no. It's not like that at all. I just noticed that background noise is still in the foreground of what I'm doing. And that's what I'm trying to say, like, is happening a lot. Um, so with focused sleep and process of information like that, are all like traits of ADD. The more term is like ADHD. So like technically ADHD, but I don't have the hyperactivity like that. I have more of the impulsive side, so I'm kind of like a mixture of both of ADHD and ADD. Um, so my attention is how I want to say it, more fragmented. Like I have to really struggle sometimes to focus on certain things. Also, with that focus, also I notice with my attention, if I'm really enjoying something or if I'm fascinating, I'm like hyper focused, like bam, and I'm all about that till I get the result that I'm looking for or the information that I'm looking for or I'm satisfied of what I'm doing in that manner, taking up a lot of my time. And also with time lapse, it's gotten worse. What I feel is 5 to 10 minutes is actually more like 30, 40 minutes. Like, it's definitely having a problem just thinking of time like that. Like, that's becoming a bigger issue for me. Um, Ash kind of got a little bit upset with me one day. Like, I went to the gas station, came back, and I was on my phone looking up at something. And I felt like 5, 10 minutes while I was finished up looking up whatever I was looking up, and I was going to head in. Well, she came out and was like, "You were out here for like 20 minutes. Like, what are you doing?" And I was like, "Just looking this up. Like no big deal." But to her, she's like, "That's kind of weird," and it's because of the time lapse. Like, the process of time is getting away from me more. I've noticed, you know, um, for sure. Like, that's a big struggle. Also, procrastination. Things that I even want to do, I've noticed getting that distraction of doing this and doing that and a lack of focus has procrastinated certain things that I was needing to do or wanting to do. It's not that I'm just interested, it's just I'm getting distracted more and procrastinating on well, I don't want to say bigger things, but it could be a big thing or a small thing. I've noticed that procrastination has become more of a real thing. Um, One thing that is a pro on this con side is lack of dyslexia. I still have it, but it's not intensified like it was before. So, like I said, I might find a pro on this side while I'm talking about the cons, but it happens for sure. But that's what's been really going on. So, um, with that said, that like an alternative thing for me is um, because I was walking in works of iniquity before in that substance, being um, in that culture of earthly things, like the stereotypical stoner, hippie, um, Cheech and Chong thing, uh, being like that. I can't go back to that. That would be backstabbing. Um, you know, it'd be like a wicked person comes to the righteous side and then going back to works of iniquity. Like, yeah, no. I'm not going to backstab the blessings that I've been given, for sure. So, even though you might be able to smoke cannabis and not have an issue um, like I don't have an issue with alcohol. I can have a drink or two and be great. Call it a night, be done. Hey, just give me Pepsi for the rest of the night, whatever it is. But someone that's an alcoholic can't do that. So it's like asking an alcoholic out for a drink. Like, I can't do that. Even if it becomes legal in this state, which is coming up soon, you know. Um, However, an alternative for me, it would be CBD. I'm willing to try it out to see if it works or it doesn't work for me. It's not a mind intoxicating substance for me. Um, it's been proven to help with focus, anxiety. One thing that the cannabis slash THC thing, because I had like more prominent THC versus cannabis ratio. Now it's going to be like CBD ratio. You know, uh, Chronic back pain is something that I have in my lower back. I've always had it for a long time. Being as tall as I am, it's more prominent. So I noticed that, or I think that, like it's an anti-inflammatory, so that will also help as well. So this is something that I'm going to try. But what might be good for me might not be good for you. What might be good for you might not be good for me. So this is something that I'm going to try to see in it, but like I said, I'm not trying to go backwards in what I was doing, and I will no longer be in that kind of culture or light of things of cultural light of darkness. If that makes sense. Um, so that's why, I'm going to try it and see if it does. But if it doesn't do anything for me and that medicinal purpose, then I'm good on it for sure. Um, but I definitely have been spirited to not go back, to not be like, okay, well, it's legal in my state, which is a legality thing. Um, I'm just going to go do that. No, I'm good. I'm good on that. Um, like I said, alcoholic, like weedaholic, weed, like, can't do that. But since it is hemp, which is not a THC based cannabinoid, it's CBD based and other cannabinoids that are healthy for you, I'm going to try that. Um, but even if it does help me and it's not beneficial in my life, going in this direction that I'm going in right now, I'll stop that too. If it stops my back pain, helps me focus, but I'm going farther from God, nope, I'm good on that. You know? So that's kind of like how things have been going for me. Um, it's been, as much as it's been a blessing, it's been a struggle. Um, you know, and not in a bad way. Like, the struggle is kind of a good thing. Like I said, cutting down on my nicotine, cutting down on my caffeine intake. And so the idea with like vaping wise is to get to zero nicotine and stop for sure. Caffeine wise, maybe socially I might have a coffee here and there, but not to drink it when I wake up, not to drink it at the end of work, not to drink it every day. You know, I need to be masters of nothing. You know, let nothing master you for sure. Um, and that's my goal. And I'm glad that I was woken to things like that. Um, very much blessed. And on that note, I hope you guys have a blessed day, rest of your day. And thank you for watching. Hopefully, you watch all through. Um, I'd be excited to hear comments from people. If you want to comment on my videos and stuff, I'm going to leave comments up. If you don't, that's cool too. No big deal. I just hope that you guys got some enjoyment and some kind of whatever you take from it. I hope you take away something from my videos. You know. By the way, I've also been playing more guitar, and I've noticed me skilling up in things that I was having issues with before. So, you know, who knows? You might hear something from me in the future. But right now, got a lot of work to do on that note. On that note, though, like I said, you guys have a blessed day. Laters.